The transfer window is beginning now to heat up. We're still waiting on the first big official, the first arrival or the first big exit from Scotland. But we had a lot of transfers over the last couple of days. So let's go over them. Let's see who is coming into clubs in Scotland. Let's see who's going out for clubs in Scotland and who is moving from one club to another. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. It's the 19th of June. It's the transfer roundup. And yeah, over the last couple of days, we've had approximately a couple of dozen transfers, to be honest. Some big, some not so big. When I say big, I mean decent level. We're still yet to give that multi-million transfer, which hasn't happened yet for some reason. Normally, those kind of transfers only happen with the top two teams, but you know, we have seen over the years that some clubs have managed to sell their key players and their key assets. And I'm looking at certain clubs now. I think there is definitely key assets in there, but let's just focus on that the players have actually officially moved in over the last few days. So Dundee have got rid of 3 players: Scott Fraser, Antonio Portals and Joe Shaughnessy. They're all now free agents. I've seen that Dundee have let quite a lot of players go, to be honest. A lot of their first team players had their contracts run down, and I do think that Stephen Presley is going to have a difficult season coming up, because this Dundee team that finished in the top 6 in their first season back to top flight, it's a very different team now, and a lot of those key players have left. And I'm not just talking about the likes of Luke McCowan and Lyle Cameron, who's now went to Rangers. We've seen a lot of Dundee players leave. These 3 have left, and there's been a couple more, and we'll discuss them as we get further on. But Mason Hancock, he has left Airdrieonians to join Walsall. Regan Tumility has left Hamilton to join St Johnstone. Josh Ray has went for St Johnstone to Raith Rovers. Sam Stinton's went in the opposite way. He's went for Raith Rovers to St Johnstone. Matthew Shields has went from Dumbarton to Queen's Park. And Jack Thompson has went from Queen's Park to Kilmarnock. Right, a pretty decent level of transfer now. We've got Craig Kelty. He has left St Mirren. He's joined Kilmarnock for an undisclosed fee. And we've also seen Richard King move from Cavalier to St Mirren, also on an undisclosed fee. Listen, I like St Mirren. I think they've done really well. Stephen Robinson's done a really good job, in my opinion. However, we have seen some key players leave St Mirren, and they tend to do, lose 1 or 2 good players every season. And I don't know, I think maybe this upcoming season, will that finally be the one that sees them drop back into the bottom 6? I think so. I would expect St Mirren have to make a few signings minimum before the start of the season. I think that they do need to bring some players in. And I mean, they've brought in Jaden Richardson from Boreham Wood on a free. But again, when you're bringing in a free from Boreham Wood, how good can this guy be? I get it, St Mirren, they're not exactly going to be shopping in the Mega Millions department, but still, I've never heard of this guy, and it's a really poor level that they are signing from. Ross Monroe has left Falkirk to join Inverness Caledonian Thistle on a free. Stuart Bannigan, after years at Partick Thistle, I think he played was it 500 games? I'm pretty sure he was in the 500 game club or close to it. He's left Partick Thistle to join Ayr United on a free. Another pretty big signing in the Scottish Premiership is Scott Tiffoney. He's left Dundee to join Kilmarnock on a free. His contract was coming to an end, and again, I'm just looking at Dundee, and I think they're going to struggle this season. I really do. A lot of their key players have left, and they haven't really brought in that many as of yet. And I think there's going to be a big rebuild for Stephen Presley. And at this point in time, honestly, I expect Falkirk to be pretty competitive. I expect Falkirk to be decent. You look at Livingston, always kind of hard to beat, tough with Davy Martindale. I reckon we could be looking at Dundee as a, potential last place finish team this season. I think they could maybe finish 12th. That's what I'm thinking. Alright, what else have we got? James McGarry. We knew this was happening, but he has left Aberdeen. He is going to Brisbane Roar. So, yeah, finally that deal is completed. It's undisclosed. I mean, if he was okay at Aberdeen, but obviously he's decided to leave for whatever reason. One helped win the Scottish Cup and whatnot, but yeah, that's him gone now. George Stanner has left Ayr United to join Kilmarnock. So we're seeing Kilmarnock bring in some players here. Stuart Findlay, though, he is definitely the big signing of the day. He has joined Heart of Midlothian, the former Kilmarnock defender, back in Scotland now on a loan deal. I'm a decent fan of Stuart Findlay. I think he is a good defender, and I expect him to do well at Hearts, and I think he can do a good job. You look at Hearts now, and the centre back position it's pretty strong, and I think they're looking good in that area. And Stuart Findlay, I think, could definitely be a starter for Hearts. And I mean, that's it, guys, in terms of official transfers. If you want to see some other news, we've got Nicholas Kuhn once again being linked with moves away, 15 million, 20 million. How much is Nicholas Kuhn exactly worth? Don't really know. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Celtic could get 10 million, and I wouldn't be surprised. Celtic could get 20 plus, and I probably wouldn't be surprised either, because he did have a spell where he was pretty much the best player in the league, and then he dropped off, and Dyson Maeda was like, you know what, I think I'll have some of that. So yeah, looks like the Cyril Dessers deal with 80k Athens has actually fell through. So we all expected Dessers to be leaving Rangers, and I did not think that was a good choice for Rangers, especially with the qualifiers for the Champions League coming up. I mean, if they want to move Dessers on, then I get it, but to me, they should be at least bringing in a replacement first. And even if you do bring somebody in, I mean, you don't know if they're going how long it's going to take them to get off to a good start. And I just think it's coming up with these games in the Champions League, Panathinaikos. I think you want to have an established striker to start those games. I guess Igamane could, but I mean, Dessers has been the main man in terms of scoring goals for Rangers, so I think they should be probably trying to keep him until, if they want to get rid of him, I'd be looking to get rid of him towards the end of the transfer window, although you could argue that your value probably does go down towards the end because you have less time to hold out and less time to sell them, so all really depends. But that's it, guys. No major signings, but the big one obviously is Stuart Findlay going from Oxford to Hearts, and then I also think Scott Tiffoney, Dundee to Kilmarnock, and Greg Kelty, St Mirren to Kilmarnock. That's two decent signings there for Kelly, and they had a pretty, I wouldn't say a bad season, but it was kind of underwhelming last year, and with these signings, maybe they'll be looking to push back in to the top six for the 2025-2026 upcoming season. Anyway, guys, that is it. Catch you in the next one. Been Fog Football. Thanks for watching, and peace.